my baby girl. My name is Gina. I've always been known as the unconventional mom. And now you know why. That's me. It's not going to change anything. You may never forget me after tonight, but try. Try to sleep well. Who said, oh my God? I haven't started, you guys. Okay, so I have some notes because I'm old. First of all, I want to thank you all for being here. This super duper memorable occasion of my life. I only have 2 daughters. One's married, so this is my grand finale.
Yeah.
Okay, and of course because she's the second, and for those of you who don't know, Bea lost her dad a little after she turned 5. So her dad has remained a very big part of your life, and she has managed to really keep the memory inside her. And we all know that he's here somewhere. I hope not beside me, but beside her. So, that being said, let's move on. Shut up over there. You're laughing too hard for them. So let me tell you a little about Bea. So Bea came after 9 years. 9 years after I had Mika. So Mika, let me tell you something about her too. Mika started walking when she was 10 months old. She was actually, on her first birthday, named every Disney character on her cake. There's Donald Duck, there's Mickey Mouse. She named every one of them. And she actually started talking in very good short phrases and sentences by the time she turned 1.5. And the biggest thing is, Mika slept through the night from the time she was 6 weeks old. 9 years later, I'm pregnant. What do I say? Walk in the park, piece of cake. I'll do it again, right? Hello?
Surprise!
Surprise! 1 year, she's not walking, she's not talking. And when she finally decided she was going to sit, she had no clue what the chair was for. She had no clue what anything was for. She perched like a bird.
Where?
Everywhere. And then she didn't walk. She climbed everything like a monkey. She was the best. By the time she was like 3 years old, everybody was so surprised. They thought she was a gymnast because she could go on those monkey bars back and forth, right? So what else did she do? She didn't talk, she didn't walk, she ran, she didn't know how to do that. Oh, and the best part, 3.5 years later, she slept through the night. 3.5 years later. Compare that to 6 weeks. No. Anyway, so we'll move on. So that was her when she was little. Okay, so Bea was also one of these little girls who always thought she could do everything. And I have to hand that to her. There was no mountain too high to climb. There was nothing so difficult. So one day she decided she was going to bike, and she was at Malu's house with Nikia. They were both biking, and Malu was out the window, and she kept looking at her. She would fall off the bike, she would get back on the bike, fall off, and get back. And finally she asked me, do you know how to bike? Yes, I know how to bike. It was her first time to get on a bike. But little did everybody know that about 2 weeks later, somebody actually taught her how to bike, brought her, and in about 10 minutes, she was biking on her own. Okay, so let's move forward. We're in Tahoe with her sister, with her dad. We put her in the pool, and she's like drowning, right? Like a fish out of water. And then we realized she doesn't know how to swim. But nobody taught her how to swim. And so her sister could swim, but I can't swim to this day. I hate to say that, but I can't swim. So we're with a child learn, right? Then about a few months later, we go back to Tahoe. she gets in the water like a fish, and she tells him, and I'm like, hey, run after her, and she says, I can swim. Lo and behold, that child swam. To this day, we don't know who taught her how to swim, how she learned how to swim, but she can swim, and now she can surf, so that's her. That's B.
Go B, go B, go B.
Okay, I'm gonna get back to you in a few seconds because the old woman has to remember what she wrote. So anyway, so for most of her life, B was fearless. She had the gumption to do things that a normal child will not do. That was her. That was her spirit as a child. As she grew older, she grew wiser, but she grew deeper in spirit and in heart. And she started to think about a lot of things that a child, as young as her, will not think. Dance was a very big part of B's life. As a child, she was dancing. I mean, you can name everything she did. She can do tap, she can do ballet, she can do this, she can do hula, she can do musical theater, everything. She never excelled in anything.
She did it all. Go B, go
She did it all without fear, and she enjoyed every minute of it. And I remember one time she wanted to go into competition, and there were not too many people, none of her friends. Hey, you dancer friends would be, raise your hands. Where are you?
All of them.
Some of them are here, some of them are there. So B, one time wanted to go into this competition, and she saw, and I said, that not many of your friends are going there. Why do we have to go? And she said, Mom, it's not about that. And I said, and you didn't rehearse enough. You didn't, Mom, competition is not about winning all the time. Competition is going there, doing your best, and accepting what you make of it. Yes. And I know, I can hear you, baby. Oh, also, I remember what she said. Competition is learning to accept that there are people better than you are. Everywhere. And it's not about cheering for me. It's not about them cheering for me. It's about me cheering for them. So those were life lessons. And she has been a very good example of what that did to her, for her. So we decided for 2 years, she went back to she went to the Philippines, decided to wanted to try living there and going to school there. And she was there and she learned diversity, she learned the true meaning of poverty, she learned a lot of life lessons while living there. But then of course I followed her the year after, and I said, well, if she's gonna be there, I'm gonna be there. So we stayed there for 1 year, and one day she says, I wanna graduate with my classmates in California. So we packed up, came back here. That was now her senior year in high school, and that's where that one came in. So,
King William!
go ahead, cheer for William, it's okay. So from that time on, we saw William. In fact, by the time she turned 18, William was our date. And they never parted ways, and I knew that somehow, sometime, this was gonna be for real. And it became so real that as a mom, you vacillate between being happy for your child and being the selfish mom, because she's my last. But tonight, I stand here before you and I tell you that the growth that I have seen, the perseverance, the excitement they have for each other, the will to be together, to always create something better for themselves, the lives that they have set for themselves, moving to Hawaii, doing this and that, is admirable. And I admire, go, go, go. I admire both of them. I admire both of them for having the heart, the spirit, and the love for each other, to truly respect each other, and to always commit to what the other's decision is. There is a lot of us who at my age probably cannot make that kind of commitment. But this is the example that I needed and all of us need. So, take note. William, do not ever, ever let me forget, and do not ever let me regret that today I brought her to the altar to marry you. And you promised to love till death do you part. And I will hold you to that because that's my baby. And boobs, you'll always be boobs. And I love you to death. You'll always be there. And if anything happens, you come back to mama. No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. No. Sorry. Nothing will go wrong because you will always make it right. And the last advice, never give up on each other. Because each other is forever. All right? Go, Jen! Go, Will! Go, Boobs! Thank you.
Don't sit down, man.